Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to swatch out the watercolor paint I received from Blue Pine Arts. This video is actually part 2. In the first part, I unboxed all the art supplies I received from them. Now this video can be considered a sponsored video in the sense that I got all this free, but I wasn't paid to make this video. So there are 15 colors. I'm only going to swatch out 12 because the paper I have here fits 12 colors nicely. By the way, if you want to learn how to create color swatch cards like this, check out my other video, which I will link in the video description below. So I have already written the names of the colors as well as the pigment used to create the paint on the paper. First thing to know about all these paints are they don't use names we commonly know. For example, Blue Pine Blue is actually Phthalo Blue, PB153, Scarlet Ibis, PR112. On their website, you will be able to find more colors with all these marketing names: Storm Blue, Berry Marine, Turquoise, Rosa Marine, Lady Murasaki. For most colors on their website, the pigment and light fast information is provided, but not for all colors. So let's swatch lemon yellow first, and this uses PY3. PY3 is a very common pigment used to create a cool yellow. The other pigment commonly used to create a cool yellow is PY175. For the bottom here, I'm going to paint a gradation, have the color fade from the intense color to the white of the paper. And this color does look very intense. The paper that I'm using is Fabriano Artistico 100% cotton watercolor paper. PY3 is reasonably light fast, so it's a good choice as a cool yellow. The next color is turmeric yellow ochre, PY42. So PY42 is going to be light fast. It's an earth pigment. This is the classic yellow ochre color, and here it looks like the paint is heavily pigmented. This is how it looks when the color fades into the white of the paper. Next we have Scarlet Ibis, PR112, aka Naphtha Red. So here you can see the paint, it's filled beyond the pen. This can be considered a warm red, very intense as well, heavily pigmented. For my warm reds, I personally prefer a scarlet or vermilion, Pyro Scarlet or French vermilion. Next we have Quinacridone Gula. I have no idea what this color is. There is also no pigment information mentioned on the label. Maybe they forgot to add that. Here you see some white substance on the paint that is actually from the wax paper. So let's see what color this really is. Okay, so this looks like Quinacridone Rose. And for this particular pen, it's not filled beyond the edge of the pen. This color is also very intense. It's a very nice cool red. And this is how it looks when you fade it into the white of the paper. Next we have China Red Venetian. There is no pigment info for this as well, but Venetian is usually PR101. And this does look like Venetian red. I don't usually use this color because it's opaque. Next we have Cinnamon Mars Orange. This is PR101. And this looks different compared to Venetian red. I'll actually have to compare this color with my other color swatches to find out what exactly this color is. Blue Pine Blue, PB153. So this is the classic phthalo blue. a classic cool blue that needs no introduction. Even though this paper is actually at an angle, I don't see the paint moving down that easily. That could be a combination of the paper that I'm using here, or it could be due to the paint. Butterfly P Ultramarine PB29. By the way, all the paint are actually handmade. I can see some granulation here. So this is the classic ultramarine color. From what I've read on their website, the pigment is only mixed with gum arabic. The pens dry very well, by the way. So this is Styronise Caput Mortem PR101, another PR101. This looks very heavily pigmented as well. This is Indian red chili. Probably has nothing to do with any real chili. This is also made with the pigment PR101. So a single pigment like PR101 can be made into different colors. Maize burnt sienna. Now the reason why one pigment can be used to make so many different colors is because the pigment can be heated to produce different colors. There is no pigment info for this color at the time of this video, but this looks like a classic burnt sienna color, PBR7. This is the fifth earth color I'm painting. Now the pens are available in sets as well as individually, so I guess it's better to pick your own colors unless the set really has a good selection of colors. Burnt sienna is always a good choice. It's very useful for mixing with ultramarine to produce that beautiful granulating blue. And the last color is Peroda Green, PG7, aka Phthalo Green. So this is heavily pigmented, incredibly intense. Fantastic choice for cool green. I like to mix a red, a rose, or a magenta with phthalo green to produce a very dark color that I usually use to paint the shadow side of trees. All the swatches have dried very nicely, and they do dry slightly lighter compared to when they were wet. From what I can see, all the colors are still quite intense, and these colors seem to have high tinting strength, which is to say that you just need to use a little bit of paint and you will be able to achieve intensity like this. So each half pan should last you for a good while. While I am not able to test how light fast the colors or the pigments actually are, you can actually just look at the pigment to get a sense of how light fast they are going to be. Pigments like PB153, PB29, PR101, these are pigments that are pretty light fast, which is to say that you can expose them to light for long periods of time and there shouldn't be any color fading. Classic colors like this are actually quite easy to identify. Lemon yellow, it's either PY3 or PY175, phthalo blue, ultramarine, very easy to identify. For the earth colors, it's a bit difficult for me to tell what colors they exactly are just by looking at the names of the colors. Burnt sienna looks like burnt sienna, but for this four, it's a bit difficult for me to tell. So let me just compare these swatches that I have to some of the Daniel Smith color swatches here. So for China Red Venetian, it actually looks a bit like Italian Venetian Red PR101, but this has more granulation. This is Venetian Red. This is also PR101, but this is more reddish. These are all Venetian red, just different variations. Cinnamon Mars Orange looks like a Pompeii red to me, but this is PR101, this is PBR7, and this has more granulation. Or maybe it looks like Daniel Smith's Burnt Sienna. Star Anise Caput Mortem PR101 looks like Daniel Smith's Lunar Red Rock. And Indian Red Chili PR101 looks like Daniel Smith's Indian Red, which is also PR101. Maize Burnt Sienna, let's compare that to Daniel Smith's version. You can see here it's a bit more reddish, but otherwise they look, they can be used for the same purposes. So if you want to buy the paint, definitely look at the pigment. But even if you look at the pigment, sometimes for each pigment you can get different variations of color, so it's going to be more accurate for you to actually look at painted swatches either from the manufacturer's website or from other sources you can find online. With some of those ambiguous marketing names, it can be quite difficult to tell what the colors exactly are. So here, for example, Quinacridone Gula, I have absolutely no idea what this is until I painted the color swatch. For Scarlet, Scarlet is a name usually used for warm red, so I guess you can sort of guess it's a warm red here. Yellow Ochre, the name is there. Lemon Yellow, very classic name. Peroda Green, can you guess this is Phthalo Green just by looking at the name? To conclude, I like what I see. The colors, they do look intense. These colors are quite transparent, so they are going to be great for mixing. And also I like the fact that the colors have good tinting strength, so you just need to use a little bit of paint to achieve the intensity. So each half pan like this can last you for a long time. For part 3 of my video, I will use the paint to color my sketches to see how they actually perform, because sometimes when it comes to painting color swatches, I mean, they do look nice, but you really have to test them, use them to create art to actually see how they perform. Alright, I hope this video is helpful. Thanks for watching. See you guys again.